All right, guys, a bit of a downer day or video today, and I didn't want to do this video and don't like doing these kind of videos, but it is a bit of a sad day. I recently heard that this long-standing fragrance from the house of Aramis will be discontinued very soon. This is Aramis by Aramis, fragrance masterpiece created by Bernard Chant, one of my favorite fragrance noses perfumers. I wasn't going to do that video. Basically, I was going to review a fragrance from Aramis called Intuition, which is the latest launch dropping very soon. But I wanted to combine these two topics in today's video. If you are curious to learn about these two topics and understand Aramis by Aramis and Aramis Intuition, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Sebastian, talking to you about the House of Aramis today. Now, let's go back in time a bit to 2021. During the pandemic, I learned that Estee Lauder was doing some downsizing. They got rid of a bunch of brands like DKNY, Donna Karan, Michael Kors, Tommy Hilfiger, Xenia. Was there any other brand? I can't remember. And one of the other brands was Aramis. Aramis is a long-standing brand from the Estee Lauder brand, so it's their own brand, not a license like they had with the other brands that they got rid of. And they said that they were combining Aramis with some other brands, or were they going to get rid of Aramis? Was a bit up in the air. I thought they were done with Aramis and all of the fragrances were discontinued, and the only one that was still around was the OG Aramis by Aramis, which launched in the early 60s. A fragrance that my dad wore, that he loved wearing, and I loved stealing splashes from him because I think he had a splash bottle. So just recently, I just read on Fragrantica, an article written by Miguel Matos, that he has some source that said that this is going to be discontinued. If that's the case, it's quite a sad day, unfortunately, because I find it to be one of the iconic men's fragrances that's kind of sort of stood the test of time. I still enjoy the way it smells. It has leather, it has Clary sage, there's woods in here, there's patchouli, artemisia, citruses, and all those kind of things. And it's a great, great men's fragrance. If you don't know what this one's all about, and you kind of want to not miss out on history, I suggest you get a bottle. This is a brand new bottle that I had bought a while ago. I still have... Do I have another bottle here? Yes. I have this one here. This one's kind of empty. But it's a great scent. It reminds me of my dad because he wore it so much. It also is a bit like CABOCHARD by PARFUMS. So the perfumer, Bernard Chant, also created that fragrance. And which that one's targeted to the ladies, but a man can totally pull off. But I believe CABOCHARD by GRES was created in the late 50s. This one in the early 60s. Similar kind of a leather green kind of a idea with aromatics and spices. Yeah, so that's the bad news, the negative news. Let me know if you've ever used Aramis by Aramis. It's just such an iconic bottle. This bottle means a lot to me because I remember as a kid, it was what my dad used to pull for and wear. And to me, it smells great. It doesn't smell like I remember. It was a lot more robust before. This is a lot thinner. It's an eau de toilette, but definitely if you love classics, men's fragrances that are, fragrances from yesteryear, you definitely should get your nose on this one. And if it's true that it is discontinued, then if you want to hoard some bottles, then I think it's time to do it now. Because what will happen is Macy's still had this on their website, so that is a good thing. But most likely, if it for sure is getting discontinued, once it's discontinued and they sell out of bottles, then they can't order more from Estee Lauder. And of course, they'll clear it out, and whatever overstock at other places that are not your, general retailers, department stores, will end up at the discounters and it'll be gone for good. So I'm definitely going to take advantage of buying a few more to have on hand. This is all I have. And of course, this little bunch in here. But yeah, put a comment down below and let me know your thoughts on Aramis by Aramis. If you've ever worn it, if you've thought about wearing it. Do you think it's too old school? Does it smell like grandpa, which is what I hear all the time? I've mentioned this many times. Bernard Chant is definitely one of my favorite perfumers of all time. He's created some of the most amazing fragrances. I absolutely love this guy's creations. And Aramis by Aramis is definitely one of the best fragrances ever. But if you are looking for an alternative for this, look for Cabochard by Parfums Grey. I actually did a short video of this recently. It's also a cheapie. It's like $25 for 100 ml. There's some differences for sure. The Aramis is thinner than the Cabochard. It's also a bit different. It's a bit, well, I think that the Aramis by Aramis does have mossy notes. This one is definitely a bit mossier to me and denser in comparison to the Aramis. I find the Aramis to be fresher, a bit more invigorating, but there's definitely very similar qualities and smells about them. It's almost like offsprings of one another. And it's interesting that the same perfumer created this fragrance first and then created this fragrance next, which is a lot of things that perfumers do. Like Dominic Ropian has created multiple versions of the same fragrance: Baby Cat, Vanagloria, Vanilla Barca. What else? Anything else that he's created that's similar? So they do it. And I guess it's much more noticeable now, but maybe the average person will not notice because they're not keeping up with fragrances. But obviously, those two fragrances, the Aramis by Aramis and the Grey Cabochard, are very, very similar. But either way, if you're looking for an alternative of Aramis by Aramis, this Cabochard is definitely a great alternative. But if you want to have a bottle of Aramis, definitely get yourself a bottle now. I'm not sure what the certainty of that fragrance will be, but if it is discontinuing or it's already discontinued, stock will be for sure running out sooner than later. Now let's talk about Aramis's Intuition. So I thought that there was a fragrance in the 90s called Intuition. There was a women's and a men's fragrance called Intuition. So, and also, as I was saying earlier, I thought Aramis was being folded or, converted or melted into another brand, but I guess Aramis is not. But they are discontinuing all of their old fragrances, what they already have. And the last one to go is the OG Aramis by Aramis. And I thought if they did that, they would fold the brand, but I guess they're not. They're launching this. Does that look familiar to you guys? The coloring and everything? What do you think? Does it remind you of the coloring of this a little bit? Maybe it reminds you a little bit more of this. What do you think of the coloring? When I first saw the color of that, I thought, okay, this is a blue fragrance because it's in a blue bottle. But I was still excited because I love Aramis as a brand, one of my favorite brands ever. And a lot of the fragrances my dad wore, he was a big fan. I've got a video on a lot of the classic Aramis fragrances also if you want to catch it. So I was very excited about this. This was sent to me, by the way. Aramis reached out to me and asked me if I want to receive it. I said, yes, please. I really want to check it out. Go check out my videos on the channel for Aramis fragrances. So I got the fragrance and I know nothing about the notes breakdown, prices and anything. Basically they said this is launching in the summertime. So I thought it was so similar to those two fragrances that I flashed on camera for you guys. And I was like, this is a complete letdown. Completely letdown. I wore so much of this, first of all. And what I'm getting from it is more like an ice-cold fougere type fragrance, but very modern, more of an aromatic. Doesn't remind me of the typical fougere fragrances of yesteryear, the ones that kind of come off like barbershop shaving soap and things like that. This is like ice-cold lavender, aromatic notes and spices, and some ambery touches in the dry down along with some woods and things like that. So it really, really reminded me of things like Sauvage, Elysium, even Bleu de Chanel. It's kind of in that ballpark. It's fresh, it's invigorating, but it's also something I personally would never wear because it's not exciting whatsoever. It's just something I smelled so much of, and to launch something like this and get so excited about, I felt completely let down, unfortunately. So I've tested this out so much. I've worn it around and trying to have people smell me. They can't smell me, first of all. And you guys know me, I'm an oversprayer. I spray so much of this stuff on, but nobody can smell me. It's very, very close sitting. It's not strong, it's not potent, it's not the kind of fragrance that people will smell. And I wear a lot of fragrance. Nobody can smell this on me. In fact, I can't smell it on me either when I can smell other fragrances so strongly. So there's a lot of negative things going for this fragrance. I'm definitely not the market for this. And I don't consider it anything to give high points to. Now, it smells pleasant. I don't hate the way it smells. There's other fragrances that I've got coming videos for that I hate the smell of. Here, it's pleasant. I also think that Sauvage smells pleasant. I think Elysium smells pleasant. But I don't rush out to wear those fragrances over and over again. And same thing with Aramis Intuition. I'm not thinking about spritzing more Aramis Intuition on. It's not that good of a fragrance. It'll satisfy some folks that want something fresh and invigorating and a bit barbershoppy, I guess, more aromatic, spicy. But those of you that are watching this channel and you like some of my suggestions that I, recommend over and over again, you will not enjoy this fragrance. But mostly what I'm getting from this is lavender. That's pretty prominent. That is what I'm getting. But this is not like the lavender in something like Beau de Jour by Tom Ford. This is not like the lavender that's in something like Fougere Royale by HOUBIGANT. This is not like the lavender that's in Cardamom pour un homme de Caron. This is a very metallic, ice-cold composition with the idea of lavender, but not the lavender that I'm used to, that when I go to an herb garden, there's a lavender bush there and I could smell it. It doesn't smell like that. Just like I said, it doesn't smell like Beau de Jour, Fougere Royale, Cardamom pour un homme de Caron. Lavender like that, to me, it doesn't. But I'm getting lots of lavender. There are some citrus touches in there for sure, so it's very fresh. It's mostly fresh and aromatic, but there's woods and amber there in the dry down. It totally reminds me of any kind of those blue fragrances that are very, very popular. But even though it's an eau de parfum concentration, I find Sauvage Eau de Toilette to be stronger than this fragrance. There's a subtlety about it, which is not like the loud projector that I wanted. So it makes for a closer to the skin experience. And I feel like that is the reason why people couldn't smell it on me. But I don't hate the fragrance. It's just not a fragrance that I'm going to say, wow, guys, go get a bottle. It's the best thing I've smelled. I've smelled so much fragrances like this, so it almost feels very redundant now to get a fragrance like this from a brand that I highly regard as one of the best fragrance brands for men for a long time. And the fact that this is getting discontinued, the OG Aramis by Aramis, and this is taking its place, it's extremely disappointing, unfortunately. So guys, let me know your thoughts on Aramis Intuition. Have you gotten your nose on it? It hasn't fully launched yet. Again, as I said, I was sent this fragrance, but this definitely is not my type of fragrance. If I didn't have this huge of a collection of fragrances and I had one or two, I would wear this over and over and over. I would wish it was stronger. I would wish it would project more. I would wish it lasted longer. I would wish it was also a lot beefier and the notes are a bit more intense. But if this is all I had, I would be happy with it. But this is not all I have. I have a lot of other things that I love. And this will unfortunately get forgotten about, pushed way in the back. And it would be a complete disappointment. And also a disappointment because it's launching around the time when something that I consider as one of the best fragrances ever made is getting discontinued. So Intuition is going to replace Aramis by Aramis. That is a really disappointing day, unfortunately. The other thing I want to say, I personally knew Intuition by women more. I never got my nose on Intuition for men. There was an Intuition for men before. I think it was Estee Lauder, not Aramis. So to me, when I think of the word Intuition, it sounds like a female fragrance. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's what I remember. And it was like, when I first heard about it, I was like, there's already a fragrance for women called Intuition, or there was, but didn't know that there was also a men's version. And I can't remember which came first. Men's Intuition came first or women's Intuition came first. So also, I feel like the name is a bit off for this fragrance. It doesn't really give me the idea of the fragrance or the juice that's inside. It doesn't. But for me, it's a very modern day aromatic fragrance, maybe fougere vibes, very fresh, very aromatic, very spicy and invigorating, but again, a very forgettable fragrance. So do let me know your thoughts on Intuition for Men by Aramis. Will you get your nose on it? Is it something that you're going to get, rush out to get once it hits the stores? Do let me know. Add a comment below. I hope that this is not the last fragrance Aramis is going to launch. But if it is, well, we don't know. I don't know what the Aramis plans are. As I said, in 2021, they were going to get folded into another brand, I thought. That's why everything was discontinued except for this. But we'll see what happens. But it's like I said, it's a very disappointing day, and I'm disappointed not for the fact that Aramis by Aramis is discontinued, but the fact that this is a disappointing offering from the House of Aramis. But let me know your thoughts. Add a comment below if you're going to go check that out, if you're going to buy yourself a backup of Aramis by Aramis. Did you ever wear it? Did your dad wear Aramis by Aramis? Do you find any other Aramis fragrances that you consider some of the best? When I was looking up Aramis by Aramis on Macy's, I noticed that Tuscany per Uomo by Aramis was still selling there. And I don't see Aramis 900, which is a favorite of mine. I think there's still stock of Devon out there. I think there's also stock of New West. Probably no Tabac Havan. I forgot the name of that one. I'm losing it. Tobacco Havan. So I don't know if any of those are still around, but those got discontinued way early. And I think J.H.L. was the one that I had a hard time finding when I did my video back in 2021 or 2020, because it was so hard to find those fragrances. But now I think they'll be a lot more difficult. One last thing, there was a fragrance that launched towards the latter part of the 2010s called Tobacco Reserve. I found out that fragrance to be one of the best fragrances that Aramis had ever launched, but that one got discontinued as well. Throughout the pandemic, it was very difficult to find. I think they can launch some great offerings, but again, Aramis Intuition is a dud for me. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. Please let me know your thoughts on this fragrance. Add a comment below. Please like this video. Please share it. Please make sure to give me a thumbs up, of course. And please subscribe to the channel by clicking the bell icon as well, so you'll be notified for future videos to help the algorithm. Anyways, see you guys later. Bye-bye.